Until 2 years ago, every top ranker in JEE and the engineering entrance examination wanted to get a CS degree. They would choose a lower ranked college, but they would try to go for a CS major. In fact, I have every year dealt with so many ECE bachelor students who want to do a master's in computer science and make a switch to software side. The reason was simple: there were just so many more opportunities on the software and computer science side. But look at what AI is doing. It's automating the software creation process, and as a result, CS grads are seeing a stagnation in employment for the first time in their lives, actually, right? So yes, the kind of opportunities that they used to get, the high ticket job offers, are not coming as easily to them, and computer science is no longer the default degree that everyone wants to go for. And actually, the technologies that are powering the AI are becoming more interesting. There are so many factors at play here, but the question that is propping up on Reddit now is, hey, should I switch from CS to ECE now, or should I opt for ECE even though I have an option to study computer science? And I'm sure soon I will be seeing some of the clients who have studied computer science in the undergrad but want to move over to the ECE side. This is a great time for ECE grads, and if you're somebody who's doing the subject selection or thinking about planning a career for their child, you should be seriously looking at what is happening in computer engineering or the hardware field. That is what I'm going to cover in today's video. All this on the other side of the intro. Keep watching. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Nishtha from Scholar Strategy and 24 North Star. Today we are talking everything about ECE or electrical and computer engineering courses and careers. I'm going to specifically talk about 3 points. What is happening, like why is there is a sudden rise in the interest around these fields. Second is what kind of skills are these industries looking for. And thirdly, what universities you should be targeting if you want to build a career in this. Let's get started with the first one. Let's talk about the rise of the chip economy. For decades, we have assumed that the future of tech lies in software. Hardware is boring, hardware is slow, hardware is for people who like soldering irons in their parents' basement, right? And then Nvidia happened. So Nvidia's GPU, which was originally designed for rendering video game graphics, turned out to be the perfect architecture for running the matrix multiplications that power every AI model you have heard of. ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok, Llama, all of them run on NVIDIA chips. When ChatGPT went viral in 2023, NVIDIA stock went from $150 to over $900 within 18 months. As of 2026, it's sitting near all-time high. But what most of us don't realize is that it's not just Nvidia. The entire chip ecosystem is booming. We are talking Qualcomm, Broadcom, AMD, Marvell, and a dozen AI chip startups you've probably not even heard of. Grok, Tenstorrent, Cerebras, etc. All are racing to build the next generation of AI accelerators. And the story is getting bigger. Just last month, Nvidia announced a $3.2 billion investment in Corning to build 3 brand new optical fiber factories in North Carolina and Texas. Why? Because the problem is no longer just build faster chips. It's how do you move data between 72 GPUs in a single server rack without the copper cables becoming a bottleneck. And Nvidia thought, why not replace copper with fiber optics, because they can transmit data as photons using up to 20 times less power. That deal alone is creating 3,000 new manufacturing jobs. Corning stock has jumped 12% on this news. The point is, AI infrastructure is now a physical hardware problem, not just a software problem. And hardware problems require engineers who understand circuits, signals, photonics, material science, etc. That is ECE territory. Now let's look at what are these companies actually hiring for. What skills, what job roles are we talking about here? If you look at Nvidia's job postings on Indeed, Built-in, and several other job boards, here is what they are asking for in their 2026 new grad and internship roles. They are looking for ASIC design engineers, where you design the actual chips. The job requires RTL design using Verilog, System Verilog, knowledge of VLSI design flow, static timing analysis, etc., which is core ECE territory. They are also looking for hardware physical design or VLSI engineers, which is the back end of chip design, the place and route, floor planning, power, noise analysis, etc. Then there are, of course, ASIC verification engineers to test the chips before they go out for manufacturing. Then there are cell modeling and verification engineers, which is a more specialized role working at the transistor level where you need CMOS knowledge, mixed signal design, etc. Also, huge demand for systems engineer, hardware applications engineer who understand electrical versus mechanical trade-offs. They can work with interconnect, both electrical and optical, which is increasingly relevant given deals like NVIDIA Corning. And it's not just NVIDIA, Intel, AMD, Qualcomm, Apple Silicon, Google's TPU team, Amazon's Trainium chips, they all need the same profiles. According to industry analysis reports, Gen AI related chips are projected to generate over $150 billion in revenue in 2025 alone, growing several times faster than rest of the semiconductor market. The semiconductor industry as a whole is on track to hit $1 trillion by 2030. Meanwhile, the talent pipeline is severely lagging. There's a genuine shortage of VLSI engineers globally. Companies are literally flying engineers from Taiwan to Arizona and Ohio to staff TSMC's new fabs. And that kind of scarcity drives the salaries up as well. Entry level ASIC roles at Nvidia are paying between $100 to $189,000 base pay in the US. That is now very, very competitive with the software roles with far less competition in between. This brings me to my section about where to study and plan for this career. Now, if you're thinking about studying abroad or choosing a university for ECE, here is my honest breakdown. Let's focus on the international options. In US, there are so many good universities. There are obviously MIT, UT Austin's, UIUC, CMUs, the obvious tier ones, and they are still the gold standard for chip research and industry placement. Cost is high in the US. You are looking at easily $50 to $70,000 per year, but the ROI in core hardware roles can be pretty real. In mid-tier universities, there are NCSU, CU Boulder, Wisconsin Madison, University of Minnesota Twin Cities, UMass Amherst, which are also giving good ROIs. If you start looking outside US, Switzerland, ETH Zurich consistently ranks in the top 10 worldwide for electrical engineering. Tuition is just $2,000 per year kind of number. Many master's programs are in English, and it's located in the heart of Europe's semiconductor and precision engineering ecosystem. If you want world-class research without American student loan debt, ETH is the answer. Then there is Netherlands, TU Delft, again home to one of Europe's strongest ECE program, and it's minute away from ASML, which is the Dutch company that makes the extreme ultraviolet lithography machines that every chip maker in the world depends on. In Singapore, of course, NUS and NTU are there. They have direct pipelines into companies like Broadcom, Marvell, and the many chip design centers that have now set up places in Singapore as well. Then a lesser known option is KAIST in South Korea. Samsung and SK Hynix are two of the world's biggest memory chip makers, and both recruit heavily from KAIST. The government is investing heavily in domestic semiconductor talent. The catch is that lab culture and daily life would require practical Korean language skills, so please keep that in mind. In Germany, of course, again, TU Munich, zero tuition, and they have a massive industrial base. Talk about Infineon, Siemens, BMW's chip supply chain. So if automotive semiconductors and embedded systems are your interest, of course, Germany is the place to be. Let's conclude and summarize, okay? CS is not dying. I'm not saying it's over. It's far from that. I just talked about the forward deployed engineer in the last video. Do go through that. But the days when a CS degree alone was a guaranteed ticket to $120,000 job are becoming less predictable, partly because of software automation, partly because the market is also saturated with CS grads now. ECE, on the other hand, is sitting at the intersection of the two biggest hardware stories of our lifetime, the AI compute boom and the global semiconductor supply chain reshoring. Companies are building physical factories, laying fiber, designing custom silicon, and they desperately need engineers who can understand the physical world. And it can be you. Whether you want to ride this ECE wave is totally up to you, but it's looking pretty solid at this moment. And I would love to work with more ECE applicants this year. So if you're serious about cracking masters from a top global universities, please do reach out to us. I'm leaving all my links in the description box below. Okay, I hope this video was genuinely helpful, and if it was, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Okay, I will see you guys in the comments below if you have more questions, and let's meet next Sunday with a fresh new video. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.